everything has just kind of gone to crap. The City of Light has been taken down, which I think is a good thing for us, but also we now know the kind of impending disaster that's coming our way, so I think we're gonna start right there, and slowly but surely I think all of the characters are gonna start to figure out what's going on and why this might not be a day to celebrate.
How's his relationship with Jaha this season?
Oh, I don't know if I can talk too much about specific storylines yet. I mean, I couldn't imagine, even if they did see each other all that much, I couldn't see them being all that close. I mean, every single time that Jaha is around Murphy, he kind of ruins his life. Every time. Like, you killed my dad, you turned my girlfriend against me, you killed a bunch of people on a boat, you're a psychopath. The list goes on and on. He's just a weird guy.
So then this season they're best friends.
You know what? I mean, through all those things, that kind of makes for a best friend with Murphy, if anything would. Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, there's tension there for sure, but there's tension with Murphy and everyone.
It's like everyone's reacting differently to this second apocalypse that is nigh. Can you tease anything about how Murphy might react to that?
I mean, that's a very astute observation. I think that's a big kind of theme of this season, is kind of seeing everyone's true colors when all the chips are on the table. You know, like this is coming. It doesn't really look like there's any way we're going to be able to get around it. It's probably going to kill us all. So, what do your favorite characters do with that information? Do some of them actually try to fight against it with almost no hope of survival, or do you give up and just enjoy your last kind of couple of weeks or months or however long it is on Earth? Speaking for Murphy specifically, I mean, I think we've seen him be a survivor this entire time. And some pretty bad times for him, like in times where he's had nothing really to live for, and he's survived anyway just because he doesn't want to die. And I think I can say, speaking for him, that's not going to change anytime soon. The guy cares, and especially now that he has something to live for, and I think he's kind of starting to get along with the group a little bit better, and maybe he's starting to, I think he's now more than ever finding his place within the 100 community.
It sounds like Murphy might have some stuff with Luna as well. Can you talk at all about that dynamic?
I mean, I love, I've got to know Nadia this year. I'm not saying that's because we work together or not. Stop trying to trip me up on that. She's incredible, and she's such an incredible talent. And I love what she did in her, just that little window of time that we got to see her last season, just for the one episode. It was incredible, and yeah, I'd like to say, I think I could probably say this season, I mean, everyone, it's the 100, we all cross paths at some point. We go our own separate ways, we come together, we go our own separate ways. So I don't know if I can speak too intimately on about what we might do together, but it's been a real pleasure.
Going back to Murphy and Morley, what are we going to see from their relationship this season?
I mean, we're gonna see a relationship that is strained through the adversity of knowing the world is coming to an end. So I think that's a hell of a thing to put any relationship through. But I know those two really care about each other. I mean, they're two outsiders that have finally become insiders through each other. And it's a really beautiful thing, and I'd like to take a second to acknowledge how amazing Eliza is, who plays Morley. One of my favorite teammates I've ever had on set. We just work really well together, and I think that shows a lot on screen in the chemistry that we have, and I'm really excited for fans to see where we're going with that.
Who does Murphy kind of trust at the beginning of the season? Because he kind of had some difficult relationships with everyone around him.
Yeah, I feel like he trusts the mirror more than anything, just himself. But he's learning to kind of give trust a little bit more, because he can see now that maybe being a part of the team can help sometimes. I mean, don't get it twisted. He'll still do whatever it takes. He'll ditch them in a second if it means his own survival. Which is maybe not the best quality to have in a friend, but he's a survivor. That's what he is.
At the end of last season, Murphy and Bellamy had to work together a bit. What can we expect of that dynamic in season 4?
I'm not sure what I can tell you about what the dynamic is going forward, but I can tell at the beginning of season 4, the dynamic between the two of them is probably the best it's been since the beginning of the show. It's maybe not that they like each other, but I think a little bit of respect definitely has blossomed between the two of them. I honestly think you have to respect, as a character on the show, I think you have to respect any of the other characters that are still alive. Because you know they've been through something, they're still breathing, and I think as a character you just have to give them that respect of like, me and Bellamy came back together, saw each other, had to work together, and just went like, hey man, like, good for you, still breathing. That's pretty cool. Oh, the bunker?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not, everything's open, we're,
Seemed like a pretty safe place.
well, yeah, I don't know if I'd ever want to go back there as a character, for sure, but, I mean, that's a bit of a ways away, because we start the season in Polis, obviously, and, we'll see if anything might bring us back to the island, who knows?
Are there certain episodes that you're really excited for fans of Murphy to see this
Fans of
season?
Murphy specifically to see?
Yes, and
Oh,
also the show.
yes.
You can answer that question.
Absolutely. For the show, I mean, specifically, I mean, episode 1's great for the show. That's it's always kind of exciting. You get to see all your characters again and see where they are. Murphy specifically, I think episode, is it 6? Episode 6 is probably my favorite that we've done so far for Murphy. It's really great. It really kind of gets into a little bit of who he is more as a person. And it's a great character episode. And then also episode 8 that we just shot is really great. I'm not going to tell you why. Just mark down the calendar for whenever those are if you like Murphy.
As an actor, is it exciting to you that the show seems to reinvent itself every year?
Absolutely. I've said it before that I think it's like an anthology show that just keeps the same characters around every year. Because the show's just a different show, completely. I mean, if you look at season 1 to now, it's completely different. Season 1 we had the kind of like start off in space, come down, and then it became a bit of like a tribal show. Like it's very primal and primitive, and it's just kind of human beings trying to deal with kind of this new Earth that they've kind of re-inhabited, and obviously the people who have been there this whole time, who are definitely different than the human beings that they probably were in 2050 or whenever it was. And then season 2, you kind of brought in the Mount Weather storyline and all that, and got a little more that way. And then season 3 got really sci-fi with like the AI storyline. Now season 4, who knows? It's more like a disaster movie. Like it's great that we get to do so many different things, and especially getting to keep the same character doing all of it and see how a character would react to all these different situations. I think is a very cool thing that not a lot of shows do on television. Like you either do a serialized thing where it's just an arc the whole time, or you do an anthology show like American Horror Story where it's different characters every time, but it's rare that you see one that I think it pretty much is like an anthology but with the same characters. I think that's a very cool thing.
3, Murphy kind of has a lot of knowledge that nobody else has because he was at Polis. He knows the history of the chip and that. Does that play into the value that he can provide in the beginning of season 4?
I agree with you. I think Murphy knows more about most things that are important right now on the show than most people do. I mean, obviously Clarke is the one that knows about kind of the impending disaster that's coming, but Murphy knows a lot of stuff about a lot of different things. And yeah, I think that does make him valuable to the group. And not just that though, I mean, I think he's valuable to the group because if he's on your side, no one will fight harder for you than Murphy. And I think that's what's happening right now is Murphy's finding his place in the group and finding what he believes in. And when he finds what he believes in, he's going to fight for it. And if that's surviving in the face of great adversity,